Al this morning tracking these storms, and we're really getting our first real good look at what New Year's Eve is going to look like for a lot of folks, and maybe a wet one here in New York.
I know, it's tomorrow after all, right? Yeah. So we should know what's going to happen by now. But the heavy rain from the storm system that Kathy was just talking about, that is now moving up across New England, eastern Long Island, into eastern Connecticut and Rhode Island. We also have a little bit of wet weather back through Cleveland up into Buffalo, and also a secondary storm system that's going to bring in some rain and snow back through the upper Midwest, the northern plains. This is going to dive down through eastern Nebraska as we go into later on this afternoon into this evening. We'll see some heavier rain across parts of Arkansas into Missouri. We'll see some of that heavier rain. And then this is going to make for the rainy New Year's Eve for New York City. Here you see by 8 o'clock tomorrow evening, we will see some of the rain. So for those folks who are hanging out there, well before the ball drops, we will certainly see some of that rain. Whether or not it's still raining right at midnight is still yet to be determined. I mean, it'll be close, like 11:30. We could see that rain come to an end. But either way, most of the evening leading up to it will be pretty damp as this area of low pressure moves through. And then on the backside of it, we will start to see some of those colder temperatures wrap in some of that lake effect snow. But for today, we also have some record high temperatures down across the southern plains, and windy conditions will increase the fire risk in that area too. That's a look at the weather across the country. We'll get to your local forecast in the next 30 seconds. Briefly. Hey, Dill. Good morning again, everyone. We do have some pretty wet weather across New England this morning. That will continue to exit and move eastward as we go through the day. Then we'll see things clear out a bit. It's really warm, record high temperatures likely down across Texas. A little slick going across South Dakota today. And then as we go into tomorrow for the last day of the year, plenty of sunshine across the western half of the country. But this storm system gathering through the Ohio and Tennessee River valleys, this is going to make its way into the northeast by the time we get into New Year's Eve. So for those folks waiting out in Times Square leading up to the ball drop, it is going to be a wet one, but at least temperatures will be in the upper 40s and lower 50s. That's a look at the weather across the country. Now here's a peek out your window. Dylan is here back with more. Good morning again, guys. We've got the big ball drop tomorrow night in Times Square. It is going to rain leading up to it. So for the folks waiting outside for the ball to drop, it will be raining through most of the evening. And we could still see that heavier rain lingering up until about 11 p.m., 11:30, midnight. And then it all is going to come to an end. At least it's not going to be too cold. Temperatures about 50 degrees at midnight tomorrow night. And then going into New Year's Day, lots of sunshine for a good portion of the middle of the country, although much colder. Teens and 20s across the northern plains, the upper Midwest. Another northwest storm is going to make its way onshore with some rain and mountain snow. And that rain is going to linger across parts of New England with some lake effect snow kicking in through New York and Pennsylvania. That's a look at the weather across the country. Now here's a peek out your window. And that's your latest forecast.
And Dylan, you're doing double duty for us, handling Popstart for Carson.
A little double duty on a Monday morning, right? Let's go and start with Saturday Night Live. As the show gears up to celebrate its landmark 50th season, we are getting a look back at where it all began. SNL posting a teaser yesterday showcasing the very first time that cast members stepped onto that iconic stage. There's some pretty successful roles on the show. Yeah, and of course, the SNL 50th anniversary special will air, so you can't wait for that.
As we should.
I know. Speaking of Saturday Night Live, let's talk about Will Ferrell, as Buddy the Elf once told us. Feeling some post-Christmas blues, taking that game 5-4 over the Philadelphia Flyers.
Buddy throwing back a cocktail. That was entertaining.
Cranky Buddy stresses me out, though. I don't want to see him like that around the holidays.
Hanging out of his mouth, adds a little holiday stress. Next up, Lisa Kudrow, the Emmy winner, is returning to the Friends set. Well, kind of. Over the weekend, Kudrow time. Next up, Wicked. We still can't get this number out of our heads. Wicked has one more reason to be dancing through life this morning. The film is tomorrow.
This is my biggest headline of the morning, maybe. I have not seen it.
Wait, I haven't either. I was over here. I'm so embarrassed.
Jamie's on the couch on New Year's, like watching
That's
Wicked.
Actually what we're going to do. We're going to get the kids into it. We're doing like a whole sleepover in the living room, watch some Wicked.
Love that. Oh, that's such a good idea.
I'm glad to know I'm not the only one.
We'll have like a joint watching.
You need to get in on that.
The ladies defying gravity this weekend. All right, I like it.
All right, next up, Glenn Powell, the Twister star, is transforming into his next role. Hulu has released the first look at Chad Powers. It's a new sports comedy production sketch where Eli Manning played the Chad Powers character. Eli streaming fall 2025.
I didn't know you could make Glenn Powell unattractive, but the prosthetics really.
They tried. They did the best they could. Yeah. Finally, the Minnesota Vikings, the NFL team, team has been going viral all season for their
reasons to celebrate. They've been such a hit in the league this season. The thoughtfulness behind it, and very like you were saying, 2000s.
Yeah,
Brock. I mean, for millennial kids,
totally
it's, everything is.
You just love the moment when the coaches are like, "Guys, enough of the high school musical. We got to practice our defensive positions."
It's so good. Well, Dylan, thank you so much for that pop start. Up next, music, sports, movies. What were Americans searching the internet